Deficit sumo deadlift. Now, before we get into this exercise, one thing to keep in mind with the setup is making sure your weight plates are the correct diameter. Reason being is some commercial gyms, the diameter of the plate scales according to the weight. So for example, a 20 kilo plate will be the same diameter as this, standard diameter. However, a 5 kilo plate will automatically be half the diameter of the 20 kilo plate. Again, if that's the case, right, especially because you might not have the strength to do 20 kilos on each side, then have some sort of plates or yoga step-up box or something underneath so that it elevates it a bit so it's in the correct height. You'll know if you have it in the correct height because the bar should be at mid-shin or just below mid-shin. Just as an example, these are two 5 kilo plates and they're the full standard diameter. Some gyms offer it, some gyms don't. So something to keep in mind and something to be on the lookout for. Now, assuming you've got all that sorted, next part is selecting the thickness of your deficit. Here I'm using two 5 kilo bumper plates. If you're a taller individual, I would recommend starting with a smaller deficit, maybe 10 kilo or 5 kilo plates. If you're a shorter individual, you could get away with a bigger deficit. Other than that, something really crucial to keep in mind from a safety perspective is you want to be aware of what plate you're using or what deficit you're using on what surface. So for example, I'm using a rubber coated weight plate, the 15 kilo plate, on rubber floor tiles. There's no, it's not going to slip. There's plenty of friction, so it's safe. It's not going to slide out underneath me when performing the exercise. However, if you were using a metal plate on a wooden platform, which is very common in a lot of commercial gyms, that almost definitely slide out underneath you when performing the exercise. So be aware of that. If you can't perform the exercise safely with the setup and the equipment you have available, then just perform a normal sumo deadlift without the deficit. So, assuming that's all set, getting into your sumo position, you should know what your sumo position is based on your setup. So the goal is, if I'm here grabbing the bar, my shins should be vertical, right? With a small margin of difference. So if I'm here and I go down and grab the bar, my knees are going past my toes. My shins are no longer vertical. Same goes if I go too wide out here. If I come down, my shins are not vertical. So that's an easy and quick way to find out what your sort of setup should be. So setting up, all right. Shins are vertical, cool, perfect. I'm in the right position. I'm grabbing the bar at shoulder width or just outside of shoulder width, that's fine. Get a firm grip, pull the shoulders back, arch your back, big chest, sticking it out, bars in contact with the body, breathe in, brace, push. Again, breathe in, brace, push. Breathe in, brace, push. Now, some things to keep in mind when performing this exercise is you want to make sure you're pushing through your entire foot. You want to be conscious of your posture. We don't want to be slouching. We want to make sure we pull the chest back. We're arching our spine. We're sticking our chest out and up. We're not in this collapsed position. We don't want to be here. We want to be here. Knees are out. And lastly, the bar is in contact with the body. Some things to avoid and common mistakes when performing this exercise is sometimes people will have their hips up too high in the air when performing it. This changes the movement and sort of defeats the purpose of what we're trying to work on here specifically. Other than that, not bracing correctly and flattening out your back. Again, we don't want to be like this. We want to be like that. Good posture, flat back. The weight is on the muscles. I can feel the stress on the muscles, not my back.